Montel Gordon said he didn't sign his first client through cold outreach. He said he did cold outreach for months to no avail, and he didn't actually sign his first client until he started to make content. I agree with this. I started my SMMA in January this year. So this is my 10-month update. I've done over 1,000 cold calls. I've sent over 2,000 cold emails, and I have, if I'd received any amount of interest from the outreach I did do, I would be sitting here fine with it. But the thing is, I didn't receive really any interest at all doing the cold calls because I'm in the dental industry. Doing cold calls doesn't really work. Like when you're going through to the gatekeeper, you've got to know, if you're in an industry that deals with gatekeepers, you've got to understand that you aren't going to even get through to the decision maker 8 out of 10 of the times, no matter how good your delivery is when you're speaking, because they're filtering you through a lens of, oh, he's just another marketer, oh, it's just another scam, because they get these kind of calls every single day with cold calls, for example. So after, when I say I did 1,000 cold calls, I probably spoke to the decision maker 50 times, and then maybe 800 times it was a matter of, I'll put you through to the manager, can you leave an email? And then I'd send an email and get absolutely no response. I think it depends. I think when it comes down to this kind of stuff, cold outreach and stuff like that, it definitely does depend on what niche you're in, and it depends what country you're in. I feel like with England and British people, we don't really value and prioritize advertising like they do in America. So when I'm reaching out to prospects, the whole idea is that you're trying to solve a pain point that they have. They don't see their lack of advertising as a pain point. There's loads of stagnating dental clinics in the UK, but they don't even, it hasn't even crossed their mind that they need to run advertising. So my first update is the fact that I've given up on cold outreach altogether. What I'm currently implementing right now to make up for the fact that I'm not doing any more cold outreach is something called the authority inbound. It's called the authority inbound funnel, which is something my mentor is currently teaching me, which is essentially a free ad strategy where I run an ad, dental clinics to follow my Instagram. I run an ad and get dental clinics to DM me, and then I run another ad retargeting all the people that have shown interest on my initial ad that didn't convert the first time round. So it's a 3-step framework ad system which relies on me building my personal brand. It relies on me posting content to my Instagram, and this is something when I first started out in January I would have swore I was never going to do. I would have swore that I would never sit down behind a camera and produce content on Instagram. I'm very anti-Instagram. My earlier videos on this YouTube platform talk about me literally throwing shade towards Instagram, but what I found out through people like Alex Hormozy and other content creators is that other than YouTube, Instagram is the #1 platform when it comes to sales, and it makes sense. A lot of the business I'm doing right now and a lot of the people I'm hiring for my team, I found them on Instagram. It seems the most talented people are on Instagram. I've conformed to it. I've decided to build a personal brand, and this isn't just because I've had a personal brand in the past, and I used to get paid for modeling gigs on my Instagram back when I was 20, but this is a whole new realm. This is completely different. I don't know when the industry changed when it comes to content, but it's so much more sophisticated now. I've got systems and processes in place. I use Notion. I've got pretty good at Notion now. I made a video about Notion before. I've got all my video edit, because I've got multiple video editors editing. I make reels, I make short form content. Obviously everything's sophisticated now. I've got a key light here. I've got a highlight light. I've got an accent light here, sorry. I've got background lights. I've got different lights over here. So everything's very sophisticated now. I've got sophisticated audio. I've got sophisticated editing. And what I'm trying to say here is that with my personal brand, I've really focused on the aesthetical side of things. I focus more on the form. I want my videos to look really pretty. I want the messaging, my scripting of my short form content to be really precise. The messaging super clear. I'm doing these carousel kind of posts as well, which are really well done. They're all done in Photoshop. Everything's super pretty and everything's super put together. And I'm following really heavy frameworks and what my mentor's teaching me. And it's all really sophisticated. So my intent here is to produce loads of content, get it all wrapped up. I'm working with some of the best short form video editors in the game. I've got amazing editors, and what we're doing is we're taking all the content. I'm doing 5 short form contents a week. I haven't posted any yet, but I'm going to get them all edited and start banging them out every single day. So when I'm running my ads on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then dental clinics are seeing this, they're going to go to my page and see that I'm running loads of I've posted loads of different organic content, just helping them out for free. I'm going to book a call and get the clients in in that way, and it's just an inbound system. Because anybody who's done cold outreach before, what you notice very quickly is that when you're reaching out to them, you are in like a beta position. They have all the power until it flips the script. So flipping that script and flipping that narrative is really hard. It's like the whole idea of like cold approaching. Like when you go up to a girl and you're reaching out to them, it's like you're in a beta position. It's a little bit different, but it's you in life, you want to be in a position where they're coming to you, right? So that's what this whole approach is. It's about me taking back my power. They come to me, they see me as an authority. I think you guys notice, like when you go and negotiate with someone, when you reach out to them first, you're a lot more susceptible to them versus if some guy DMs you like some weird cryptic question like, hey, can I ask you a question? Like, can you handle 10 more patients? Like, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever brought a high ticket service from somebody cold outreaching to you? And obviously I'm saying this now with all my biases and all my experiences. Like, if you can make cold outreach work for you, fair enough, but I feel like I've got this tint where it's like, I've got this tint where, like, I don't know, I guess there's a limited belief with me based on my experience, but I do understand, like, when I do get results with my agency and I've got like a lot of testimonials, perhaps I cold outreach work, but for me it just doesn't feel like a good use of my time. I feel like I'm going to derive a lot more benefit from just doing this personal brand thing. And then from a macro sense, when it comes to agency, obviously, like, it is such a simple business model. Like, just yesterday I signed on a new video editor, and it was this kid, like the guy, like, it's a video editing company, right? It's a short form content agency, and the guy who owns the whole thing is 15 years old. Well, 16, like he turned 16 like a month ago. This kid is so young. I asked him on the call, like when he was doing his like little sales call with me, I was like, how old are you? Like, this dude is so young. Like, he still goes to school, he looks like a baby, and he's running like a full-time agency, like a successful agency. He's got clients, and he runs his operations on Notions, he does his communications on Slack. Like, this little kid is sophisticated, man. Like, I'd be getting in my head sometimes thinking that, man, I'm doing quite well, like I'm gonna have a business what's up and running, I'm gonna make this work. And then there's like little 16-15-year-olds who have already like hit the nail on the head, and they've already got the momentum and they're already cracking on. I'm sorry, from a broad sense, what I'm trying to say is, like, agency is such a simple business model. Obviously you got 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds doing it, but it's such a simple business model. Obviously you have your service delivery, you have all your operations and your systems in place to make sure your service delivery, you can actually sustain it as you start to take on client. But minus that, so you've got service delivery, you've got client acquisition, so you find a method in which you can consistently attract new clients, and then you have a service delivery to prevent your churn, and then you've got like a system in place for hiring good talent, whether you hire lots of talent and kind of sieve through the ones that aren't really qualified, or you make a really stringent hiring process and get the really good people in place. And then obviously you've got culture and different stuff like that. But really, that is the three principles. You hire consistently, you have a solid service delivery, and you have a good team. Obviously there's intricacies to all the different aspects, but at its foundation, and that's all there is to it. So it's like, I can't let myself quit. It doesn't make any sense. And I know 100% I'm going to pull this off. Like, I'm very confident in the personal brand side of things. And I think in the UK, with our culture, we respect people a lot more when it comes to, like, we respect people a lot more if we have to go to them first. So I feel like the whole script is going to flip. Right now, like, I've been running an ad for like 10 days now. It's an iterative process. You've got to find a winning ad. You've got to find a winning landing page. You just got to experiment with a lot of different variables, and they're all new variables, but it's going to work. 100% going to work. A thing I want to talk about though, when it does come to personal branding and producing content on Instagram is so intense. Like, I don't know if you guys realize, when you go on Instagram, it's like the second you go on, you're just sucked into this vortex, and then you're scrolling on reels, you've got different worlds you're entering in. There's a lot of information at once, and something that I've had to really like be strong on when it comes to producing my content for Instagram is not getting distracted. There's so much different content, and a lot of it's good, and you start to feel this sense of FOMO or conformity, like you need to produce that kind of content. Just because something's good, like, you kind of feel like you need to conform to it as well. Like, I see a good video, it's like, okay, I want to try and do that, and I want to try and do that. But something I've really made sure I do is like have this foundational principle, have this brand image that I stick to, and I'm really stringent with it to make sure that I'm not deviating and losing focus. So one, I can perfect my kind of content and produce it at scale and be individual and have like brand value, and then not really copy people. But two, is so I can be focused and I can like get good at my craft, rather than like, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm not getting distracted, I'm not getting overwhelmed, I'm sticking to my plan, my goal. Like, okay, that guy makes super cool content, but does his content convert? Is this whole idea of vanity metrics where you can have a good piece of solid content what perhaps gets 1 million views and 600,000 likes, but is that converting to your ideal patient? So it's this whole idea of balancing. Like I think Alex Hormozy talks about it best, where he uses a story where there's this girl who he met who didn't have a blue tick on Instagram and had like 5,000 followers, and all she does is just talk very specifically to her niche, which is like a really obscure niche, like it's something crazy, like a niche of a niche. So like, say for example it's chiropractors, but then she's doing like some kind of legal document for them or something like that, and then it's she ends up admitting that she makes over 7 figures a year through her Instagram selling like the information products that she does, which is insane, right? Like she doesn't get any vanity metric, nobody would think anything different to it, but she's just raking in 7 figures on the low because she's just super niche and she's talking directly to the pain points of her ideal patient, so of her ideal client. So that's what I've got to really stick in my mind. Like I'm only talking to dental clinic owners. I'm not trying to focus on vanity metric, and I'm not trying to go viral on Instagram. I'm not trying to become famous. I'm not trying to become this guru yet. I'm not trying to do all of that through this approach. This approach is speaking directly to dental clinics, and I've got to keep that in my mind. All in this to say, my 10-month update as of now, I've done over 1,000 cold calls. I've sent over 2,000 emails. I've done a lot of cold outbound outreach to no avail. So my update after 10 months is that I am quitting cold outreach together, and I've finally decided to start and commit to a personal brand. And I'm going to do it all sophisticated and properly. I've got systems in place. I'm using Notion. I'm doing my communications on Slack. I've got a team of video editors. I'm producing like 5 pieces of short form content a week. I'm doing like 3 pieces of carousel content a week. And I'm just building a foundation right now. But when I launch and I start to really scale up my ads, tune up my ads, doing my retargeting, my DM and my follower ads, mixed with the content that I'm going to be posting for free, just providing value, I'm going to take this agency business to the next level.